The following program is an exclusive presentation of GPTV.
GPTV presents the 2002 GHSA Football Semifinals. Funding for this program is provided in part by IBEW Local 613. Georgia Electric Membership Corporations, South Trust Bank, Dodge, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and by Powerade.
From the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Day 2 of the GHSA State Semifinals continues right here on Georgia Public Television. Hello everyone, I'm Dave Garner along with the Dean of Atlanta Sports, Bo Bach, once again. And Bo, yesterday, Quad A action overtime. Thomas County Central over Marist in a thriller. Today, it's number 1 Thompson taking on Shaw in the second half of that championship picture. Tell you what, it's going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be fun. Take a get ready pill, everybody, because last night we saw Veer versus Wishbone. Tonight we're going to see just pure wing tee from both sides, but offense with Thompson versus defense from Shaw, and they both play both sides of the ball to the hilt.
And indeed, they can indeed run the football as we take a look at what Shaw has done. And of course, here's the 3 teams remaining. Marist, of course, falling to Thomas County Central by 1 point in overtime, 35-34 and a 2-point conversion. And of course, Shaw at 12-1, Thompson at 13-0, ranked number 1 most of the year in Quad A. And, of course, the Raiders out of Region 2, you see what they've done this year. They've gotten it done on the ground, over 2,400 yards, 31 touchdowns. Not a lot in the air, but look at the defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
5 defensive touchdowns. They get it done on defense. And speaking of, they certainly have some guys on that side of the football that can get it done, particularly number 35 right there, Brandon Whaley.
Brandon Whaley is a linebacker that everybody's talking about. He's got 75 tackles, 7.5 for a loss. He's got 1 interception. This guy's going to cover the field. He's a major college prospect, and you're going to have fun watching him tonight.
And also number 91, Philip Weaver, as well, a Georgia Tech commitment. Here you're going to look at Charles Flowers, the head coach. Tell you what, he's certainly been there a while, 14 seasons. He's had all kinds of success. As you get a look at his record there, 93 victories, closing in on 100. And Coach Flowers is certainly a heads-up guy. And I tell you what, a great coach down there. He's done a great job with that program in Columbus. They won a state championship, of course, in 2000. And talking a little bit about Thompson, again, number 1 throughout the year. These guys have gotten it done. And when you look at their numbers, they are something else. Over 4,600 yards of rushing. Tell you what, they get it absolutely done, folks. So you're going to look at those numbers, 64 rushing touchdowns, 5 passing TDs. They don't throw unless they have to, but when you have rushing numbers like that, you don't necessarily have to throw that much.
And then quarterback Deion Palmer right there is kind of like the quarterbacks we saw last night. He does it all. Look at that, 1,258 yards. And how about his yards per carry? 11.2. He does it all. And they also have DeMarco McNair, running back, who's going to be something else tonight with over 1,200 yards himself. So we've got a game pitting defense of Shaw versus the offense of Thompson. And if it's like the rest of the games we've had in this championship semifinal weekend, it's really going to be something.
All right, there you have it. Luther Welch, of course, the head coach, 38 years as a head coach. He has certainly gotten it done, well over 270 victories, and we caught up with him about the game plan tonight.
But we basically, I run a team because I have the running backs. I have a good fullback, quarterback, and the halfbacks, and they're seniors, and they've been playing 3 years, and they just have the experience, and they do a good job. Defensively, we're in the 5-man front. We slant out of it some of the time, so it's good for us with the smaller people. Our defensive linemen are small, but it helps us because we can slant. They don't have to fight those big 275 people head up all the time, so it really helps us a good bit.
And, of course, Luther Welch, a very successful coach, and here with more on Coach Welch. And what we can expect today is the always colorful and creative John Nelson.
Even though I'm monochromatic down here on the field, we're going to talk about the turf a little bit. You've got 2 teams that actually are going to have some experience coming into this game. First, Shaw. Shaw spent 2 days at Auburn working on a surface like this, and they're wearing brand spanking new shoes, except for the tape that you'll see for all the ankles. On the flip side, Thompson, they got their new shoes for turf on Wednesday. They had a day of work at Athens on Thursday, so they're used to this stuff as well. Now let's talk about attitudes when it comes to this game. Shaw, for the entire playoffs, has thought that it's an us-against-the-world mentality. In their pregame meeting, on the board twice, on their dry erase board, when it came to game plan, it said, no one expects us to be here. It was point 2 and kind of point 3B when it came to the offense. So Charles Flowers, he thinks it's going to be very, very important to carry that attitude along. For Thompson, on the flip side, once again, no surprises, but for Luther Welsh, he's been a kid all week. It's an early Christmas present. He said this was the only thing that he really hasn't done in his career as a coach. Now he's at the Dome. He's like the kid in the candy store, and he's going to dance with the girls that brung him. Let's send it right back upstairs to the ever-colorful Dave and the ever-colorful Bo.
All right, there you have it. The scoop from John Nelson. As we get ready for kickoff, we'll go ahead and take a timeout, though. We'll be right back. 12-1 Shaw, 13-0 Thompson. Coming up next right here on GPTV. And welcome back to the Georgia Dome, live from Atlanta. The Shaw Raiders at 12-1, taking on the Thompson Bulldogs at 13-0 in the second half of our Quad A semifinal here at the Georgia Dome. Again, Dave Garner along with Bo Bach bringing you all the action. John Nelson on the sidelines with us this afternoon. And we're getting ready to rock and roll. 8 down, 2 to go now. Of course, we just got through watching an excellent AAA ball game with Screven County and Gainesville. Of course, Screven pulling that ball game out there at the end, 13-10, the final. And they're going to look at the Bulldog there for Thompson. That also Bones is the name of that Bulldog, Bo, and I found out that that's actually a descendant of Uga.
Gotta be.
Gotta be. Sunny Style, of course, in Savannah there. Oh, yeah.
We've already had the phone call before the game, okay? And you won the call shot. And you elected the first and second half, okay? You're going to be on that end. So if you'll go to that side, and you'll be over here, okay? On this side. Lay right in my way, bro. Get out of my car.
Shaw winning the toss but deferring, so Thompson will have the football first.
Dave Shaw features defense, and that's what they prefer to do. They'd love for you to take it. They'd love for you to be able to stuff you right off the bat, get the Thompson crowd out of the game, and get going as what you would call the underdog in this game. They lost their first game of the year to Carver of Columbus, and since then have reeled off 12 straight. So you've got 2 hot teams, undefeated Thompson and the 12 consecutive wins for Shaw.
Unbelievable, too. William Henry Shaw High School, of course, former Columbus School superintendent, and here come the Shaw Raiders. And incidentally, Bo, that loss against Carver Columbus right off the bat this year was the first regular season loss these guys have had since 1998 when they went 7-3. Since then, they've been undefeated every year until that Carver loss. And here we get ready for the Thompson Bulldogs, number 1 in Quad A. Coming into this matchup, and we talked about Cinderellas in a lot of games. Of course, we saw Dooley County earlier today, a team with 6 losses that will play for a state championship next week. But in Quad A, pretty much everyone that was supposed to be here was here, with maybe the exception of the defending state champion, Statesboro.
And isn't it amazing as you look at the coaches, and as we introduce the coaches all day, but the teams that get here are the coaches with the best records. The guys who really do the best. And for a number of years of doing high school games, I really had a feel for it being on the sideline and seeing how some coaches make corrections as the kids come off the field and make adjustments. And those other schools that are not doing as well don't seem to be able to make those adjustments as the kids are coming off.
Thompson, of course, in McDuffie County. They're going to look at Coach Flowers of Shaw. Again, the stadium, the big brickyard for the Thompson Bulldogs there. And they're going to look out the road to the Dome for Shaw. They defeated Burt County 27-6, then Pebblebrook, and then, of course, Tucker, a team that was number 2 in the state. And you can see what they did with the Tigers there, 37-7. Very impressive win to get here to the Dome.
A big win, huge win for sure.
So Shaw getting ready to tee it up here. Mitch White, the outstanding kicker, will put his right foot into it at the 40. And back deep to Marco McNair, the outstanding running back, stands at his own goal line. And we are underway from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. High, deep kick. It'll put Barco back about 5 yards in the end zone. And so Thompson will bring it out to the 20. They'll set up shop there. Of course, the quarterback, Dion Palmer, number 6, will lead him on out there. And Palmer, actually the son of NBA star Horace Grant. They're going to look at Palmer and his numbers this year and what he's done through the air. 21 of 43 for 473 yards, 5 touchdowns for the senior. But indeed, he gets it done on the ground, being recruited by a lot of schools, a lot of big schools, but mainly as an athlete.
Well, we're going to see quarterbacking tonight like we saw last night with Thomas County Central and Marist, and that is both of these kids can really run the option.
2 wing teams squaring off tonight, and the give is to Antoine Johnson, the big fullback. 6 foot 200 pounds there, dives forward for about 4 yards. Big baby, they call him.
They run hard, and as we said in the open, Thompson has really racked up the overland yards.
And of course, McNair, number 22, with that last carry. And here you get a look at the offensive line. English and Willie Williams, the tackles. Brinson, Neal, and Boatwright in the middle. Palmer again under center. Wing T with a shifted tight end look, if you will. And give it back to McNair. And he is hit and stopped for a loss. Big number 98, Robert Lenz, the junior, came shooting through there to break that play up, and it'll be 3rd and long.
You see how stout they are in the interior line. I'm going to try Palmer outside now.
They're going to look at the rest of the offense again. DeMarco McNair, the running back. Johnson, Jackson, Drake are the receivers, and Hortons is the wing back. And you'll notice again a wing T, but really not getting a lot out of their tight end this year, so Coach Welsh wanted to split one of those guys out. He's about 3 yards outside that tackle over there. Top sweep, this is Danny Warren. First carry of the ball game across the 25 and driven backwards. And going to be well shy of that first down, so they'll have to punt it away.
Well, that's Shaw's game. That's what they wanted to do. Go ahead and take the ball. We'll put our defense on the field and see what you can do.
And they're going to look at the defense again. Philip Wheeler, a defensive end committed to Georgia Tech. Duggar, the defensive end, has a twin brother that plays on this team. And there you get a look at the linebackers. Parker and Whaley, outstanding guys. And then Jones, Merritt, Alexander, and Bynum. Merritt, number 21. Keep your eye out on him. Brandon Young will boot it away for Thompson. And Young gets his foot into it. High kick. They'll take Shaw back inside the 40. That's Anthony Merritt, who is going to be brought down hard at the 35. Good coverage by the Bulldogs. And Shaw will set up on offense. And a good punt by Brandon Young. You know, Thompson, Bo, known for some good punters. Ray Guy, Chris Moore, I guess, currently with the Falcons, was Thompson.
Well, that's just a couple of beauties right there. Talk about Ray Guy, the all-timer, and Chris Moore. I think there's no finer punter in the league today than Chris Moore. As far as hang time goes, as far as no returns are concerned, and as far as directional punting is concerned.
And you saw the numbers on Terrence Moore as he gives to their fullback, Terrell Mabry, number 39, the sophomore, for his first carry. And this is going to be a big deal for Thompson's defense today. Mabry at 6 foot 260 pounds.
He's a big one.
They're going to have to get a body on him today.
Have to stop him. And now, this is Thompson's test. This is not their favorite side of the ball.
Kind of a split back look here. They'll do a little bit of everything, but mainly an option team. And Moore is hit and dropped at the 40 for no gain. Casper Brinkley in on the stop again. Casper and Jasper Brinkley play on both sides of the defensive line, and they are twins. I like to call them the Thompson twins. They're going to look at how they line up offensively. Kim and Murray are the tackles. Herbert, Smotherman, the guards, and Huffman in the middle, anchoring that up big offensive line there. And Mabry and Wheeler are the running backs, along with Garcia. Powell Garcia's the big play guy. Courtney Ellison's the tight end.
Moore that last time was a little bit indecisive.
3rd down and 5. Receiver to the right now. Garcia in motion to the near side. And it looked like we had some movement there. Thompson pointing against Shaw, though, but it looked like Culpepper may have come across there. I don't know. Somebody might have moved that quarterback. Moore looked like he might have took off a little early there.
I didn't see any movement. Might have been.
Looked like he started to back out from underneath the center there, but let's check the flag here. And indeed a false start on Shaw, so that'll move the Raiders back finally 3rd down and almost 10.
Repeat 3rd down.
Again, Moore, the quarterback, not a lot of impressive numbers. He's just a sophomore. He's only rushed for 100 yards or so, thrown for a little over 500, but they keep the ball on the ground. And when you have running backs like Garcia, Mabry, those guys, you don't really have to do a lot of throwing. Garcia motion, far side. Moore will look to throw this time. Rolling left, throws downfield. He's got Garcia at the 45 and a 1st down. Garcia out of the backfield. And a nice tackle by Lawan Johnson, 32, but not before a big gain by the Raiders.
Well, great seal block on the left side of that line on Casper Brinkley, number 89. See it here if you can see. They're out of the frame right now. But that left tackle, for sure, really turned him inside and didn't allow Casper the opportunity to force that throw.
And we talked about Garcia.
Do you see it right there?
Yep. Garcia, big play guy, runs a 4.5 40. And he has his first big play of the ball game. Twins right this time. Garcia over there to make it trips. Quick pass. That's Powell, number 18, on the completion, but he is hit and dropped. Thompson played that nicely on defense. Danny Verdun, the standout linebacker, and of course number 12 right there, Dexter Crawford, the other linebacker, if you will. Verdun gets a lot of credit there, but Dexter Crawford also a big play guy.
Tried to run the funnel screen made famous by the University of Georgia with Champ Bailey and Coach Donnan. That was one of Coach Donnan's favorite plays. And tried to come inside against the grain.
Brinkley, Culpepper, McCord, and Williams, the linemen. Verdun and Crawford, an excellent core of linebackers. Johnson, Warren, Mathis, and Rogers, your secondary. Bulldogs again at 13-0. Only average giving up right around a touchdown of all games. So second down and 11. And Moore going to keep it, going to follow his blockers, make something out of nothing. We'll punch it inside the 40 down to the 39. Gain of about 3, but it'll be third and long.
I'll tell you what about Thompson's defense. They don't mind contact, and they don't mind hitting and moving to the ball. That was pretty good defensive set right there.
Williams and Rogers.
Watch them initiate the contact.
And did a nice job there by that Bulldog defense. For Shaw, an opening round loss last year to Crisp County. Now to return to championship glory from 2000. Moore looking to throw. Being pressured will go down back at the 49.
That's Jasper.
Number 91, Brinkley, the senior, with a big rush.
Jasper Brinkley, his twin brother Casper on the other side. Those are the Thompson defensive ends, and he did a great job.
And we'll take another look at it right here. Good upfield rush. Moore nearly broke out of that.
Yeah.
And now Mitch White will have to punt. Demarius Mathis, number 2, back deep. Mitch White averaging 36 yards a punt this year. He also handles his place-kicking duties. High snap pulls it down. Thompson with a return. And a little punt there. Oh, it takes a nice little bounce. And we'll go out inside the 20. Not a bad punt, trying to keep it away from those return guys. And Thompson will be back on offense. Talk about Palmer. Looks like he's headed to Georgia Southern, 6'2", 175. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards. He's got 2,786 yards in his career and 11.2 yards a carry.
As an athlete, not necessarily a quarterback.
Right. 24-3 though as a starter, and that's the bottom line right there. That's a school record. And this time he's going to give to McNair, 22. Not much there, maybe a yard or so. Shaw with a nice job defensively. Diedrich Bynum, number 4 right there with the hit.
Both of these defensive fronts are taking the initiative, and Shaw just then has been doing what Thompson's been doing. They own the line of scrimmage.
Bynum 6'1", 178, 27 tackles this year, 3 interceptions. So he's also had some big plays.
Let's go, Drake!
And defensively giving up under 10 points a game this year. Again, Palmer going to give to Warren this time. And Warren going to drive ahead across the 25 up to the 27. Anthony Merritt, 21, in on the stop, but big gain there on second down will bring up third and short.
Yeah, third 7-yard romp there on second down, and that's the biggest gain of the game so far.
Warren also 11.2 yards a carry, about 5'8", 170. He's also a good kickoff return man, had an 84-yard touchdown.
Yeah, well, he was schooled in that replay. See him protecting the ball?
Rushing yards well over 2,000. And this time, in motion, and it is Brandon Parker, the junior, wrapped him up. Parker also 43 tackles this year, 2 sacks, very quick.
You know, we didn't see good tackling last night, but we're seeing it tonight. That was a picture-perfect tackle. Look at the wrap-up.
Wow. Mano-a-mano right there. And this
He's going to bring out a measurement right here pretty close to that first down marker. Be a little short, though. DeMarco McNair, 3 1,000-yard seasons, the only back in school history to achieve that for DeMarco McNair, number 22, certainly a Division I prospect.
And that doesn't leave a decision to make when it's on your 27.
Brandon Young right there, number 14, set to boot it away. Once again, got a pretty good punt off on his first attempt. But so far, Shaw's defense has done the job. They're going to look at Merritt, who had a big punt return for a touchdown versus Tucker. That one blocked. Shaw got a hand on it and going to fall on it, looks like, at the 23. Dietrich Bynum, it looked like, number 4, came shooting through there and got a hand on that ball.
Hunter was very slow getting it away. I didn't think Dietrich Bynum had an opportunity to get it. Maybe take a look at it again. 1001, 1002, 1003. That's too long.
Oh, and you could see McNair was the up back there on the punt. Got a piece of him, but Bynum really got some ups. And just got a hand on that ball. So now the Raiders in business. Ball at the 23 of Thompson. They're going to look at him on the sideline there. Bynum with a big special teams play there. And Shaw will go to the I formation. Now they'll send a man in motion. And to give it straight forward, that's Mabry.
That's a big guy.
Big gain there on first down. 260 pounds comes rumbling at you. Dexter Crawford with the tackle there, but Mabry a big chuck. And he's only a sophomore, Bo.
Oh, boy. He'll be 6'2", 280.
They'll have to move him to the line there. 141 yards versus Tucker in the quarterfinals. Had 132 in round 1 and 3 touchdowns against Burt County, so his numbers are there. Second down and 3. Ball right at the 15. Split back this time. And the give goes back to Mabry, but Thompson all over that one. 31, John Williams, the senior linebacker, with the stop.
And he just got penetration, beat the block, and, you know, this is what we've been talking about. Both defensive fronts are owning the offensive line.
So you look at Brinkley, too. 68 tackles, 7 sacks. Look at that. Unbelievable. 3 for a loss. And Brinkley's very quick. And his twin, of course, playing on the other side, Casper. So after that play, third down and close to 6 yards, more of a wing T conventional look. Garcia in motion, tops it. Garcia turns on that 4-5 speed, trying to get to the corner. He's got the corner pushed out right at the marker on the far sideline. LaJuan Johnson was there, but let's check that spot.
Well, they'll go for it here. I think he's just short, Dave. But you know Coach Flowers will go for it here. On the Thompson 14, 13-yard line.
You could look at it again.
Comes right here. They've been much more successful running outside than they have up the middle.
And it looks like it is going to be fourth down. You're going to look at Garcia this season. 74 rushes, 555 yards, 7.5 a carry. Now a timeout on the field. Shaw going to talk things over here. And the offense, they're going to look at Coach Charles Flowers, who brings his team over. Well, a little history here between some of the coaches. Of course, these two have never met. Last night we were talking about Thomas County Central Marist. That was their 5th meeting. Not a lot of history between these two, so it's a little bit of a different scenario tonight. Some of the coaches actually work together. And, of course, the winner of tonight's game will actually host the championship next Friday at 7:30 right here on GPTV. They're going to look at it. Of course, Thomas County Central improving to 14-0 last night, so we're down to 3. And the other half of that playoff picture will become complete here tonight as Thompson and Shaw continue to tangle here at the Georgia Dome.
Coach Flowers played at Fort Valley State 14 years at Shaw. 11-8 playoff record. His career record is 126 and only 48 losses.
And on the other side of the ball for Thompson, offensive coordinator Rob Ridings. Those guys coach together at LaGrange. So they may have it figured out here a little bit. And on 4th and inches, Moore going to punch it forward. And it's going to be a Shaw first down, so the Raiders move the sticks here and continue to move the football. 3 minutes left in quarter number 1 here at the Georgia Dome. Dave Garner along with Bo Bach and John Nelson, along with the rest of the GPTV crew, doing an excellent job this weekend. And a lot of folks don't realize you see it from morning to night, but this crew has been here, and a lot of these same folks are here all morning and all night long. Our spotter Rich over here shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about. And ahead to the big boy. Maybe right there, but not much. Thompson, a nice job in the middle.
That's good contact right there. And as we said, other than that quarterback sneak, Thompson getting off the ball and beating Shaw off the ball, off the line of scrimmage. And they're better off running outside, and I think Thompson is too against Shaw.
They've got the speed to do it. So 2nd down and 9. They can actually get a first down just inside the 2 there. Terrence Moore, the quarterback, a basketball player, started as a freshman at Shaw. And, of course, they've won a few baseball titles with Coach Flowers as well. Looking to add another football title here in 2002. Sweep. Garcia trying to turn the corner. Hemmed in, cuts it back in, and a big tackle there. Number 90 with a big hit. Danny Verdun, that linebacker we were talking about. Verdun has committed to Georgia. 3.7 GPA, 6'2", 230. This guy is a hoss.
Yeah, he is. And wait until you see. Look at Thompson. Thompson gets 10 people to the ball. The only one that didn't come was the offside cornerback. 10 people get to the ball within that radius right there that you can't see in the entire frame.
Well over 100 tackles this year for Verdun, the senior. And you can look at his numbers, 113, 10 for a loss. I think that's the most impressive number that jumps out at you. So 3rd down, 8.5, ball right at the 10. And Moore looking to throw, goes up top, fade pattern, Garcia in the corner, unable to bring it down. Danny Warren was there in coverage, and he led him a little bit too far to the sideline. Otherwise, that might have been 6. Jump ball there.
Stanquan Rogers in coverage there, and he made a very big mistake, and that is he let the separation come between he and the receiver. You've got to be with that receiver. When the receiver looks, you look. If the receiver turns his inside shoulder, you turn your inside shoulder. If he turns his outside, you turn outside.
Mitch White, the place kicker, will try to get Shaw on the board here with 1:16 left in the first. This will be about a 27-yarder. Hoop shot. And the kick is up, and it's right through there. So Mitch White, 8 of 12, now 9 of 13 on field goals this year, has a 50-yarder and gets the job done there. And it's 3-0. The Shaw Raiders strike first blood here at the Georgia Dome.
Dave, we've seen some very good place kicking over these last 2 days.
Yes, we had 49-yard field goal last night from Maris to send this thing into overtime. Dublin with a long field goal as well to do the same. So I think these kickers, like you said, Bo, I think you mentioned something about it last night. They really like this turf.
Yeah, it's a great surface to kick off. A lot of these kicks, don't forget, have been kicking obviously on grass, but off a crown surface. When you were talking about, John Nelson was talking about before the game, setting up Shaw going to Auburn, Thompson going to Georgia. Big difference there. Auburn has got an indoor facility. Georgia does not. Right. And Georgia's got kind of a worn-out artificial surface, and that's not really what it's like here at the Dome, obviously.
Right. Shaw graduating 9 offensive players last year, 7 off the defense, so it's remarkable that these guys were able to get back to this point. And White will boot it away high. The short kick will be taken at the 17. And that is the big play guy right there, number 32, Lon Johnson on the return, takes it all the way out to the 30.
That was almost great. Shaw kicked the mortar kick. We're seeing a lot of that in high school football, taking away the return people. Obviously, some of the best, quickest athletes are your return men. So in high school, without the special teams to be able to counteract that, you mortar kick and try to take away that return.
So first down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Again, Dion Palmer under center. And this time to give to McNair, right side, push through a hole. Got 8 yards up to the 38. And that time DeMarco showed off the Jets. Darius Alexander, the free safety, had to bring him down.
You see how he ran for over 1,200 yards.
Good seal blocking in there, too. Broke a tackle back there.
Knees come up high.
So second down and short for the Bulldogs. 3,554 career yards for McNair. And this time Palmer going to keep it, turns the corner, 45 and up to the 47. And he'll have a first down for the Bulldogs. Darius Alexander, again, the free safety, had to knock him out.
Somewhere Horace Grant is smiling. That's my boy.
Talk about a lot of other greats from Thompson. We talked about punters, Eddie Lee Ivory, some other names, Jerry Mays, some of those guys out of Thompson. First down and 10, ball to 47. Two-back set and a quick handoff to Antoine Johnson, nicknamed Big Baby. They call him Baby. He's certainly no baby, though. At 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's also routed 1,000 yards this year.
Neither were the guys you mentioned from Thompson who went to Georgia Tech, Mays and Eddie Lee Ivory, two of the best running backs ever there, along with Robert Levette and of course out of Cartersville.
Well, that's it for quarter number 1. Time is winded down. 3-0. Shaw with a field goal. They've got the early lead. We'll step aside, take a timeout, be right back with quarter number 2 from the Georgia Dome. Quad A semifinals right here on GPTV. Shaw with a 3-0 lead after a 27-yard field goal. Thompson with the football to open up quarter number 2. Again, the Bulldogs 9 region championships, 2 state titles under Coach Luther Welsh. Trailing by 3 here with the ball in midfield for Dion Palmer. And that dangerous Bulldog offense, wing T. And Palmer going to keep it left side, tries to bust it outside. And will punch it down to the 45. Shaw able to get a couple bodies on him there.
Guys, that was a great run. I mean, they had him dead to rights at the line of scrimmage, and watch him lower his head. Watch Dion Palmer here. Great instinct. Now look at the body lean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Picks up 5 yards after contact.
Brandon Parker, Anthony Merritt had to bring him down. So 3rd down and about 2 here for the Dogs. 32-17 playoff record. And Merritt in motion, and Palmer going to keep. He is brought down, though, at the line. And a nice job by Diedrich Bynum. He is already making his presence felt here in this first half big time.
Yeah, he is. And you see that, Thompson running the ball as much that Diedrich Bynum is a safety, and they walk him up, and he's on the line of scrimmage. And I think they can soften it up a little bit if Thompson would just throw it. A little bit.
So 4th down and 3. Doesn't look like they're going to go into punt formation here. Ball on the Shaw 45. They're going to look at Bynum. 53 tackles, 4 for a loss, 2 sacks, and 3 picks. And just a junior. So 4th down 2. Yeah. Bulldogs are going to line it up against the Raiders here. Wing T. And a little misdirection play. Danny Warren across the 45 spins his way, but I don't believe he got there. It's going to be awfully close, but looks like he might be a half-yard short.
That's short defense. They're very proud of it. They're very quick. And they all stayed at home. Nobody was really fooled by the misdirection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys at the line, at the ball, and at the point of contact.
Didn't get it there, so the ball will go over to Shaw. And Coach Flowers pleased with what he saw there out of his defense.
The way to go, defensive coordinator.
So now Shaw will take over. They've rattled off 12 straight since that opening week loss to Carver Columbus, and the little hitch at midfield is complete to number 2, Marvin Menifee. Going to pick up about 6 on the play.
3-step drop, good delivery, and a great catch.
Menifee 7 catches, 124 yards. It's a pretty good average there. He gets down the field. So 2nd down and 4. And this time Garcia will go wide, far side. I formation, and the give is straight ahead. And that is number 10, Brandon Rose, who is in for Danganald Wheeler, who is out of today's lineup. Rose, number 10, 51 carries, close to 400 yards and a touchdown this year.
Moore just threw it, and that was his 74th attempt of the year. If that sounds like a few attempts, he's had 37 completions. Then you have to consider Dion Palmer on the other side with Thompson. We were talking about throwing a little bit. Is only 43 attempts all year.
Moore going to give it off to that big fullback again, Mabry, up the middle on 3rd down and short. And once again, going to be dependent upon the spot here. Mabry's a wrecking ball in there.
It's as though it's just short.
Brinkley and Culpepper with the stop right there at the line. Well, if you're enjoying GHSA football live from the Georgia Dome, show your appreciation by becoming a member of GPTV. Log on to our website at www.gpb.org. It's easy, totally secure, and only takes 2 minutes. That's www.gpb.org. And thanks for supporting high school sports right here on GPTV. And you see the throttle measurement. Just a little short there. And it looks like Mitch White going to come out here possibly to punt this thing away for Shaw. But I'll tell you what, it's in that area of the field, Bo, where you got to think about a fake punt. I don't know if you do that this early in the game with a 3-point lead, but.
Well, when you've got that big fullback, I'm kind of surprised that Coach Flowers is not going for that. Or even the quarterback sneak with the Moore.
You got to think you get 260 pounds moving in the right direction. Good things are going to happen probably 9 out of 10 times.
Well, he just saw Thompson fail and would rather pin them, I think.
Yeah, Shaw with the kind of defense they have, without a doubt. Low snap. White picks it up off the carpet. Good high kick. Thompson, no one back there. Takes a little bit of a bulldog bounce. And it'll come back to about the 18. So not a bad punt at all. Thompson playing completely for the fake.
Yeah, they had nobody deep. And too bad they didn't get the bounce there because Shaw really had great coverage.
So the Bulldogs will trot back out here again. Thompson out of McDuffie County. If you head out I-20 east towards Augusta, you'll run into it. And of course, they beat the defending state champion Statesboro 40-7 back on October 18th. So that tells you the kind of team that Thompson's been this year. As we said, they really haven't had many close ball games this year. McNair up the middle, driving, breaks a tackle. Good-looking run there on first down. Picks up about 6, up to the 24.
McNair, you can see, as soon as he gets on the loose, he's going to be something in this game because he's a ferocious runner. He's got great instincts and runs with abandon. Protects the ball as he's going through the line of scrimmage.
Also pretty dangerous as a pass catcher. You got to watch him. 8 receptions, 134 yards. You can look at his numbers for a career. As we mentioned, 40 touchdowns. Well over 3,500 yards.
8 receptions in this offense is like 80 in somebody else.
Exactly. There's McNair again. Watch out. He's got some speed. Another 6 or 7 across the 30. And Dedrick Bynum had to bring him down again. And it'll be a first down for McNair and company.
He's warming up.
5'11", 185. As we mentioned, he does have the speed. A 94-yard kickoff return for a touchdown earlier this year. 8 yards a carry, average.
Yeah, 18 rushing TDs.
So first down at 10, ball across 30. And to give this to Antoine Johnson. He's got some room up to the 40. 8 or 9 there on the quick hitter up the middle. Darius Alexander brought him down to the secondary. Close to another first down there. It's going to be second and short.
That was a great call, Coach Welsh, because everybody's keying on McNair now. And you give it to the big guy.
They've basically got 3 rushers over 1,000 yards with Palmer in there. McNair and Johnson, those 3 guys. And of course, you can't take your eye off Danny Warren either, number 10. And they'll run a reverse or 2. A wing T formation. And this time, Palmer on the keeper. First down and more up to the 49. Dion Palmer brought down by the nose tackle, Jeremiah Edwards, downfield there, but Palmer moving the sticks again. Call him D.
And a great block at the point of attack. Look at 28, Bramikas Hordens. That's what we didn't see last night. Maris was not able to get that block. Thompson is.
Neither team real big up front. Push boat right to center. You're going to look at Palmer's numbers. Most by a quarterback in school history. 2,786 yards. Has a couple of records there. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, 24-3 as a starter is also a school record. And this time, 2 or 3 over the left side. Robert Lynn's on the stop.
It's a lot of career yards for a quarterback. And when you think about McNair, he almost has 4,000 career yards.
Go ahead and take a look at some earlier action. Of course, Dooley County, as we mentioned, a team with 6 losses coming into the playoffs with a 24-20 victory over Metter, who was here last year. And, of course, GAC right at the end over Early County, an exciting ball game there. And, of course, Screven County with by 3 over Gainesville. An exciting game there nonetheless. Another good ball game here at the Georgia Dome. That time had Palmer wrapped up by Brandon Whaley. Whaley, as we mentioned, 6 foot, 225-pound linebacker for Shaw.
Coach Buzz Busby of Statesboro was talking about this offense, and in today's Atlanta Journal-Constitution, he says that, just a great midline option game with Deion Palmer.
They've got some size up front. Thompson does on the offensive line a little bit there. Tub Neal, number 70, headed to Clark U, and Willie Williams, number 77, also looks like he's headed to Clark University. So I guess Charles Ward, those guys, Mr. Lassiter will be calling their numbers, I guess, in the future. And the ball after 46 of Shaw. Crowd trying to get into it. And a little quick toss there to McNair. Punches it down. And close to another first down at the 42.
Bynum, the safety, number 4, did a great job of getting undraped and participating in that play. That could have gone for huge yardage if that block was allowed to stand. Watch him here on this ball coming at you. Number 4 will come into your picture. He gets off the block right there to slow him up.
One thing they like to do, and I noticed too, Neal coming by there, as you get a look at McNair's numbers, over 1,200 yards, 8 yards a carry. They like to pull the guards. Big Tub Neal pulling around there a while ago had one of those lead blocks. And this time McNair again carries 40, 35, 30, watch out, 20, 10, and McNair will go in for the touchdown.
Well, Dave, you made the call. Great call. They pulled the guard and the tackle, and the guard and the tackle both got a piece of somebody and sprung them loose.
41st rushing touchdown of the year for DeMarco McNair. And the touchdown for the Thompson Bulldogs, and they've got the lead.
Here comes the guard and the tackle, 70 and 72. They both get a piece. That's all you need when you've got a back like McNair and back of you.
Without a doubt. Aaron Johnson, the senior place kicker. Flag comes flying in here on the extra point.
Dead ball. Illegal substitution. On the offense, 5 yards.
Like they might have had 12 men in the huddle there. So Johnson will back this extra point up. He's 5 of 6 on field goals this year. 61 of 70 on PATs during the season. Had a 40-yarder against Washington Wilkes. So he's got a leg here. And a 25-yard extra point. On the way here, Thompson trying to go up 7-3. And the extra point is there, and it's good. So Johnson boots it through. Late flag comes flying in now. Let's check that one. Well, that was one thing. We were very fortunate yesterday. Didn't have a lot of flags in that Central Marist game.
Well, in this game also. Very clean.
Looks like this was going to be penalized on the kickoff there. And here you get a look at McNair, who's really been the workhorse in that offense. We talk about Antoine Johnson, the fullback. Normally your fullback is your workhorse and a wing T offense, but McNair gets the bulk of the work.
That was Montrell Neal and Brian Brinson out in front of 2 seniors, the guard and the tackle. And those guys, you got to give them a lot of credit. They're lugs, big lugs. Look at them, here they come. Boom. And right up the chute comes DeMarco McNeil.
That'll help that 8.1 yard average for McNair. Really turned it on.
It was Brinson at the end and Neal before him.
Thompson's got some size up front. Shaw not quite as big. When you look at their numbers across the offensive line, their biggest guy is Huffman, the center, 250, but everybody else 200, 204, 215, 208. And they're going to look at the Bulldogs scoring drive. 8 plays, 81 yards, 351. McNair, that 41-yard impressive touchdown run. And the penalty will put the ball up at the 45. It was on Shaw. And Aaron Johnson, the kicker, will boot it away. Back deep for Shaw, number 3, Darius Alexander, the junior. And a good high, deep kick. Alexander, and they're going to wave it dead there. Alexander into the end zone. Again, you can't bring him out of the end zone in high school football, so it'll come out to the 20.
Shaw's got to find a way to answer this now.
That might be the story. We talk about Thompson's offense against Shaw's defense. Right. Both sides of the ball so impressive, but this might be where the game is decided right here with Shaw's offense and see what Thompson's defense can do. We're going to look at some crazy fans out here today. all painted up. That's pretty much the typical scene here at the Georgia Dome on semifinal weekend. Of course, the Falcons will be here tomorrow, so really busy all through the weekend. And this time, they'll shift far side. Garcia, very fast, 4.5 speed, nearly breaks it, still on his feet up to the 35. What a run by Jose Garcia.
No. Shore's offense is not taking a back seat to anybody. They blocked that one to perfection. They're also pulling.
If you look at Garcia, he really turns it on there. Something else. John Nelson, of course, on the sideline. And let's go ahead and throw it on down to John. What do you got for us, John?
Now, you see what happens when coaching staffs finally talk to players. They were saying they're running scared, stop running scared, you get a touchdown drive. I also talked to Danny Verdun of Thompson. He said they're not seeing any surprises so far when it comes to the Shaw offense. Back upstairs.
All right, Garcia in motion. Uh-oh, ball loose on the ground there. Little miscommunication there on the exchange. But the Raiders are fortunate to fall on that one. Big Jarrell Mabry able to get a body on it.
Well, we noticed earlier that Moore had a little bit of hesitation in where he was going to go off an option, and we were just talking about how good they looked on first down, and then they come back second down and don't look as much in sync.
Clock continuing to roll down here in quarter number 2, 4:12. And counting. Fairly quick first half. And some movement on the offensive line there. Looked like number 50 Kim may have left a little early there.
Might have been a late snap.
And of course, those offensive linemen, Bo, are those unsung heroes, and unfortunately,
false start on the offense, 5 yards.
Sometimes the only time they ever get called is when they make a mistake.
Yeah, that's right.
They've been opening up some holes there. Now Shaw going to call a timeout here.
Well, good call, Coach Flowers, and get your composure back. Tell the guys to settle down. Tell your quarterback Moore to take control of that huddle. Make sure they're focused. You're going backwards. You're facing a 2nd and 17 right now.
And Thompson with the 7-3 lead. Shaw opening up the ball game with the first score, a 27-yard field goal. Got him up 3-0 there. Of course, that was Mitch White who booted it through there. And now Thompson with that last touchdown, making it 7-3. Well, mark your calendar for Friday night, January 31st, for the return of Georgia's longest-running high school sports and academics program. That's Prep Sports Plus. You'll meet some of Georgia's most successful student athletes, athletic programs, and much more. Again, Prep Sports Plus returning on Friday, January 31st, exclusively on GPTV. And Jim Giannacchio does an excellent job with that show. Got to meet his father a little while ago up here in the booth. I love watching that show. If you love high school sports, you love checking out Prep Sports Plus. Second down and about 17 here for the Raiders. And Moore going to bootleg right, but he's going to go down. Danny Verdun, that linebacker, came shooting through there, and a big loss.
Well, Danny's a big timer, and he's got that great speed, and he with the two Brinkley twins at defensive end provide a formidable defense.
You look at Moore once again, just a sophomore. And
he's a sophomore, and that's why he does go down relatively easy. We saw him go down earlier with a one-arm tackle. It wasn't even really a tackle. It was just a swipe, and he went down. And he's light, not much weight.
So the Raiders break the huddle. 3:25 now before the half. 7-3 Thompson. And now whistles. Empty backfield for the Raiders that time. And delay of game going to be the call here, so back them up 5 more.
Dead ball, delay of game on the offense.
Coach Flowers, it's time for a Bobby Dodd.
A little quick kick there.
Quick kick here.
Might not be a bad call there. I formation. First time, and now they're going to split them off and going to empty that backfield again. Going to go trip left, twins right, and Moore running, looking, being pressured, hit, and dropped. Third down and 23. It's going to be fourth down about 25. Andre Culpepper, the senior defensive tackle, brought down Moore in the backfield.
Well, there's two ways to look at it. One, he didn't make a a stupid throw and try to force something, and secondarily, he really had to get rid of it and throw it away.
Good coverage downfield. That was one thing about this Thompson defense, is they cover well. Good secondary. And so Mitch White will come out to punt with his heels at the 2. And now number 15, Darrell Jackson, a receiver, stands in midfield. Good snap. Good rush, but White gets it out of there. And Jackson will let this thing roll. Takes a nice little Shaw bounce. And will continue to roll inside the 45. Down to the 43, so a good punt there. That'll help out 36-yard average. And Thompson will take back over.
Coach didn't like that offensive set at all.
Flowers fired up.
Looked great on first down and then went backwards. Coach Luther Welsh.
Presbyterian College. 38 years as a head coach. 2 different stints at Thompson. Bulldogs, of course, with state championships in 84 and 85 under Coach Welsh. And this time, Palmer going to keep it. Maybe a yard and a half, but that's all. We talk about the tradition of Marist and Thomas County Central and the history they've had, but Thompson has won 4 state championships, back-to-back in 84-85 with Coach Welsh, back-to-back in 67 and 68 in single A. And Shaw again with the 2000 title in Quad A.
Saw that short defense right there. That play looked as though it might go for something, and then all of a sudden Whaley shows up, Parker shows up, and the 3 people in on the tackle.
Second down and 9. Green tee. Palmer going to keep it. And closed up nicely. That was Desrick Duggar. And we talked about the Thompson twins, if you will. But Shaw also has a set of twins on their team. Desrick and Darnell Duggar. Desrick starts at defensive end. And his twin brother also playing up there as well. And now a timeout going to be called by Thompson. The Bulldogs want to talk things over here.
We saw Desrick get off that block and make that play, another play that looked like it was going to go for something.
Well, this December, join Andy Williams, Charlotte Church, and the 3 Tenors for a special evening of musical holiday entertainment. It all begins Tuesday, December 24th at 8 p.m. right here on GPTV. Again, Andy Williams, Charlotte Church, and the 3 Tenors. A special evening of musical holiday entertainment. You got your Christmas shopping done yet, Bo?
I will right after I watch Andy Williams. It'll get me going. When I was a kid, Andy Williams always had Christmas specials on.
We're going to look at the Thompson fans fired up, trying to continue that #1 ranking all the way to a state championship. We talk about their road to the Dome. Of course, they beat Troup County 35-0, beat Ware County. And, of course, that overtime win against Rome, really the closest ball game they had all year long, 20-7. It was scoreless. They were able to throw up 20 in overtime. The go-ahead touchdown came on that hook and ladder play. So 3rd down and 7 here, though, for the Bulldogs. Shaw defense trying to force that punt, get the ball back. Misdirection. Warren hit in the backfoot and dropped. Wow. Nice play there. Number 99 for Shaw came blitzing through there. Jeremiah Edwards, a nose tackle, made a big hit.
Talk about getting off the ball. Both of these defenses have been excellent tonight at the line of scrimmage. Look at that. Look at him come through. Low. Just getting off the ball, getting his pads under the Thompson centers.
Edwards always in the right place at the right time. 4.5 sacks this year, 3 fumble recoveries. Now Brian Young will boot it away. Low liner. And that is Anthony Merritt, the big play guy. In trouble trying to turn the corner and will go out right at the 34. Merritt, as we said, an 82-yard return against Tucker. 8 interceptions for Anthony Merritt. I'll tell you what, this guy is really all over the place.
Shore's got to do a better job of holding up the punt team at the cover team at the line of scrimmage, because that low liner should have had some room to get something done. But you had 6 Shore cover men down there, or 6 Thompson cover men rather.
So 1st down and 10, Raiders out of the huddle again. Terrence Moore. And the wing team, Moore looking to throw this time, has him in there. Powell hook and ladder play. 40, 45, Garcia out in midfield. We were just talking about it. Shaw trying to work a little bit of Thompson magic here.
Well, we talked about it last night. That's what Maris needed at the end of the game. Their only option. This is the throw that Moore threw before. It's an easy completion for him. You see how effortlessly he throws it.
They obviously watched that tape against Rome. Saying, you guys can run it, we can too.
Right.
And we'll run it on you.
Does a good job of looking to the right side, does Moore.
Yep. Good low ball grab there by Powell as well. So now Moore looking, puck fake, throws it up top, got a man down there, Garcia. He's going to be nearly intercepted. The safety, Marius Mathis, number 2, rolled over into coverage. That could have really gone either way right there. Could have been a catch, could have been an interception. If he throws that ball a little sooner and more on a rope, he's got Garcia wide open, but hung it up there just a little too long.
The contact from Garcia knocked it loose. And he had him, no doubt about it. I think Shaw may be finding out something here about their passing game. That maybe we've got something here.
Well, he's thrown for over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns in the air, just 2 picks. So they're effective when they need to be. Second down, and it looks like Moore's going back to the air. He's going to come under a heavy rush, and he'll go down at the 50. 1 yard loss will be 3rd and 10. And 9 seconds on the clock. And Shaw going to call a timeout here.
Well, it's kind of like one of those things. You can fool me once, but you can't fool me twice. You know, now all of a sudden, Shaw, if you go into that passing game, these guys have seen it. But with no time remaining but 9 ticks on the clock, coach needs to go to the air and try to hit something big.
Shaw now out of timeout, so yeah, indeed, going to have to throw it up here, come up with something. They've already shown Thompson the hook and ladder. Of course, coming up a little bit later on today, we'll have the second half of that 5A matchup, our final game this weekend, playing out at the Georgia Dome. Of course, Camden County taking on Brookwood, and the big question is, will it be an all Gwinnett County final next Saturday right here on GPTV? Of course, Parkview winning last night to keep that streak going, 44 consecutive victories now. And Brookwood, of course, their Gwinnett County rival, will be here a little bit later on after this one. Camden, though, the real deal. Tell you what, they're going to try to break it up. Camden, very good football team. So 3rd down 11 here, 9 seconds left. Shaw, with the play here, going to pitch it out there to Menifee, and he turns the corner and will get out of bounds with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, they've got one more play. I thought that was going to be a halfback option, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought so too there for a second. Maybe want to get a little bit closer, perhaps take a chance at the end zone here. Moore, though, pretty good arm. I don't know if he can throw it quite that far.
Probably not, but you've got that mid-range pass that's going to be available to you here, and if you can get it to your most elusive receiver, who's probably Garcia, he may have a chance.
Final play of the half right here. Moore out of the gun. Twins left, wheel route, pressure, and he is hit hard and dropped. Big rush by that Thompson defense. Casper Brinkley, number 89, the first guy there. And that'll do it for the first half of play from the Georgia Dome. In the second quad A semifinal, let's take another look at that final play there.
Well, I thought he did a great job of stepping up, but here comes Casper.
Not much of a shot at all there. So Thompson will take the 7-3 lead into the locker room here at half. And let's go ahead and throw it on down to the field. John Nelson standing by.
Thanks, guys. Here with head coach Luther Welch. Obviously, the way they finished the first half, obviously a solid moment there with the sack.
Well, we just not playing. We played, excellent defense and doing a good job, but we're not being consistent offensively and just not doing a good job. And we're missing blocks. Of course, it's up to they have a lot to do with it because they're doing a good job defensively also.
And also, first quarter, second quarter, war in the trenches went your way. Your line started to get the yards that they needed for that score.
Well, yes, and we just got to get them ready at halftime so we come back second half and really get after it like we should.
All right, Luther Welch, head coach Thompson, thanks a lot. Go into the locker room. He's got a 4-point lead. Let's send it back upstairs.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Again, we're getting set for halftime here. Some marching bands coming up. Stay with us right here. Dave Garner along with Bo Box. 7-3, Thompson over Shaw in the second quad A semifinal. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the half here. Thompson with the 7-3 lead on Shaw in the quad A semifinal. Now it's time for the half, and that means marching bands, folks. And we got some good ones here today. Again, the Shaw High Marching Raider Band Marcy Hankins, the band director. Drum majors are James Robinson and Jason Thorne. 61 members strong in that Raider Marching Band with the performance title Tower of Power. Again, the award-winning Raider Marching Band. And they're going to look at the Raider Marching Band, Shaw High School, 61 members strong, and a good performance today as they wrap up Tower of Power, an award-winning performance. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to John Nelson, standing by with Marcy Hankins.
Thank you, Dave. Here with the Sound of Silver's Marcy Hankins. Tower of Power. I've got their CDs. I know what I'm getting into when I listen. How did you come up with that idea?
It's a group that I've always liked, and I played some samples for the kids, and they really enjoyed it, so that's what we went with.
I mean, What was their initial reaction? Did anybody have any idea who the Tower of Power was and what the horns were all about?
Only a few of the kids whose parents are really into jazz that would have the records at home. But for the most part, they didn't know. They just knew it was funky and they liked it.
So how long did it take to get a routine like this together when music wasn't all that familiar with them?
We spent 2 weeks before school started in band camp, and that's where they put it together.
Now, this is your first year. What's your first year been like as the leader of the Sound of Silver?
I'm sorry?
What's it been like for your first year? What's it been like?
It's been busy, but it's been exciting. It's great to be part of this team at Shaw. Coach Flowers is a wonderful man to work with, and the kids are just fantastic. I'm having a ball.
All right, Marcy, thanks for your time. Nice sounds. Let's send it back upstairs. 1 down, 1 to go.
All right, there you go, John. 7-3 our score at halftime. Again, Thompson over Shaw as we continue with the marching bands. And we'll take a timeout and be right back to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. GHSA State Semifinal football right here on GPTV. Thompson up 7-3 over Shaw in the second half of our championship picture in Quad A. And, of course, halftime continuing here. We heard from the Shaw Marching Band, and now it's time for the Thompson Bulldog Brigade, 140 members strong again. Dominique Finch and Ben Porter are your drum majors, and Jesse Milan, the band director. Performing selections from Michael Jackson's Bad, Beat It, and Thriller. Let's go ahead and throw it on down there.
No.
the Bulldog Brigade. What a performance there. Michael Jackson Thriller. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to John Nelson, who's standing by with a special guest.
Thanks, Dave. Here with the band's big dog, Jesse Marlin. Jesse, how'd you come up with Michael Jackson as an idea?
Well, last year a couple of the students came up with the idea when Michael Jackson did his comeback concert, and I was thinking about it. You know, Michael Jackson's music covers the time span of a couple generations, and I thought it'd be a real crowd pleaser.
So what's the response been like? How many of the kids knew the music before they were going in?
There's quite a few that knew the music. It's funny how music comes in cycles. It's kind of like fashion. I see some of the kids doing some of the dances that were very popular back in the 80s with, Michael Jackson when he was coming out. So they responded to it very well, and a lot of them are very familiar with the tunes.
So is it easier for them to learn than say something else? Where on the scale was it?
It's a little bit easier, when you're familiar with the tunes, but we've got some pretty hard arrangements out there, and, it was a tough show. So real proud of them, All
right, Jesse, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Let's send it back upstairs.
All right, thanks, Sean. I enjoyed that. I like that Michael Jackson music there. Thriller certainly played well by their Bulldog Brigade. Well,
we have some great bands.
Oh, definitely. Of course, first half, not a lot of highlights, not a lot of scoring. A lot of highlights, I guess, just not a lot of scoring as we take a look at what all went down there in that first half, and indeed a lot of big plays, Bo.
Well, this is the first momentum turner. It looks like Brandon Young, back to punt for Thompson, and that's blocked by Didrik Bynum. And that looked like they were going to be in business down deep in Thompson territory.
And, of course, that led to this 27-yard field goal from Mitch White. That made it 3-0, and Shaw with the early lead in this ball game.
But now with McNair getting warm, Thompson comes back, and look at the Bam Bam guys, 70 and 72, Brinson and Neal. They paved the way for McNair to come up the chute, and that was a 6-point play. Just great blocking at the point of attack.
41 yards on the run there by McNair. And Thompson up with a 7-3 lead. And there you're going to look at the first half comparison. Again, passing yards, none for Thompson, but they've been able to run the football 118. Just 7 rushing yards, though, for Shaw. I think that's what really sticks out there. And, of course, total yards 118 to 49. First downs 5 and 4. Time of possession pretty even. So other than maybe some of the rushing and passing totals, overall, pretty even first half, I guess.
Yeah, we see Thompson did not pass for any yards. I don't think attempted to pass in that first half, and hopefully they'll keep the lead and won't need to throw it because they have only attempted 43 passes all year.
Indeed, a big first half for the Thompson Bulldogs. Shaw, of course, winning with defense a lot this year, as we talked about, and indeed they've been pretty superb this afternoon as you get a look at the Thompson Bulldogs. Let's go ahead and throw it to break. We'll be right back with the third quarter kickoff again. Quad A semifinals right here live at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. We're back in a moment. The Thompson Bulldogs up 7-3 over Shaw here in the second Quad A semifinal of the week. And, of course, Thomas County Central with a 35-34 victory over Marist last night in the first half of the championship equation. And, of course, the winner of this ball game will host Thomas County Central Friday night at 7:30 for the Quad A State Championship. And a matchup you can see right here live at 7:30 on GPTV. Of course, the Bulldogs have pretty much had the #1 ranking, Thompson, all throughout the year. They lost to Dalton last year in the quarterfinals. Dalton, a team that liked to throw the football, but 2 running teams here this afternoon, Bo.
Yeah, 2 wing T teams. We saw a couple of we saw a Wishbone and Beard team last night. Both Shaw and Thompson are wing T teams, and just don't run it with the authority that we saw last night.
John Nelson standing by on the field with Coach Flowers.
Thanks, guys. Here with Coach Flowers. You weren't lying. You said the game was going to be won in the trenches so far, and so far you're right.
Yes, it's going to be won in the trenches, and it's a tough ball game right now. They're doing a great job, and it's a pretty good ball game, except for that one big play that they ran. It's pretty equal right now.
Now, any surprises being thrown at you so far? I know that your running game has had successes with Jarrell Mabry, but then that was kind of stopped in the second quarter when they started getting penetration.
Yeah, they got penetration, and we started doing some things that we don't normally do, and that's throwing the football. So we're going to go back to what we do and just try to do what we do and let them do what they do and let the best team win.
All right. Now, also, anything else going on injury-wise? How are they handling the turf with all the turf issues and the new shoes? Anything going on there?
Had nothing to do with the turf. We're getting our butt beat by a real good team, and turf had nothing to do with that, so we're just going to have to come out and play a little bit harder and try to make a few adjustments and get after these guys.
Okay, I can't say it any more plain. Thanks for your time, Coach. Let's start the second half. We'll send it back upstairs.
Guess what halftime was like? Guess what halftime was like for Shaw? We're just getting our butt beat. It has nothing to do with turf or grass or shoes or cleats or anything.
Coach Flowers, of course, as we mentioned, coached at the LaGrange with Rob Ridings, the offensive coordinator at Thompson, so they may have it figured out a little bit here. Of course, Larry Prather, who did the single-A color force, coached with those guys at LaGrange as well, so these coaches are a little familiar with each other, and even though this is the first meeting between these teams, as we talked about, still a little bit of history there as far as the game plans go. We were talking about Mabry, the big fullback, again, 132 yards in the first round of the playoffs against Burke County, 141 yards rushing against Tucker in the quarterfinals to get Shaw here at the Dome. And also the defensive touchdowns, we talked about that. Anthony Merritt, a punt return for a touchdown and an interception for a touchdown in that quarterfinal matchup against Tucker as well. They might need a big defensive touchdown in the second half.
I think they had 5 defensive touchdowns in the course of the year, and need some of that tonight.
And, of course, we've already talked about Thompson and what they've done. McNair, 148 yards in round 1 against Troup County. But check this out. Dion Palmer, a quarterback, 260 yards rushing in round 2 against Ware County in a 51-35 win.
Dion's been mostly wrapped up tonight, as has been more for Shaw. And we've got to see a little more quarterback play from both of these guys. And that's what's bogging down the offense. They haven't been able to get started.
As we said, of course, Coach Welsh, 2 championships back-to-back in 84 and 85. He's won 3 or looking for his 3rd. Of course, 38 years as a head coach, 272 victories, and two different stints, I guess, with the Bulldog program. 13-0 of legendary coach, has done an excellent job, and maybe trying to get another string of back-to-back titles going here starting in 2002. So Aaron Johnson will boot it away. And back deep, it's number 3, Darius Alexander, the return man to the 20. Trying to bust outside, taken down at the 25. And 24, Yancey Moss down on special teams, along with Dan McNair, number 36.
That was a high arm tackle, and not the way you want to tackle somebody, but they got him on the ground, and that's all that counts.
Another look at that and hear the pop. There's some pads popping out there tonight.
Yeah.
Big hits.
Well, we've talked about, talk about the offense is not getting going, but look at the defensive fronts and the job that they're doing.
Moore, the quarterback, will hand off to Rose, number 10. And he splits a couple defenders on his way up across the 30 to the 31. Casper Brinkley brought him down. Again, Rose getting the start tonight in the semifinal matchup.
I guess Coach did talk about something, because all of a sudden Shaw's running it with authority. Great blocking, too, on the line of scrimmage in that play.
Of course, the Shaw defensive coordinator, John Barnett, they did a good job there in that first half. Exception of that 41-yard run. Here's Warren again, turns the corner, and another run of authority right there. Another 5-yard pop. Should be good for a first down, depending on the spot there. Lawan Johnson, number 32, brought him down.
The side judge gave him the sliding factor. It's a good spot.
So first down and 10 up at the 35 for the Shaw Raiders. Good halftime show there. The Raider marching band and, of course, the Bulldog Brigade really getting this crowd fired up. Certainly want to thank those folks for making the trip. And Mabry up the middle, that 260-pound fullback that we saw a good bit of in that first half. And flags come flying in.
This is Danny Verdun, number 90, trying to yank that ball out of there. He's going to be a good player.
Yeah, he might be one guy that can match up with Mabry. He's about 6'2", 230. Going against the Bulldogs.
Face mask on defense, 5-yard penalty.
Our referee, Chuck Adams, the man in the white hat this afternoon. Take a look at the rest of our officials there. Barry McCravey, Woody Sherritt, Tony Watson, Henry Evans, and Gary Lott. Peach State Officials Association. Out the dome today. Garcia in motion near side. And Mabry again the carry up the middle, but not much there at all on first and short. Danny Verdun, number 90, with the tackle, drove him back.
The big fella hasn't any room to get up ahead of steam. And they're waiting for him there. We talked about in the first down, they did a great job of blocking at the line of scrimmage. But since then, they have not. And that's a great job right there by Dexter Crawford at the linebacker position. He's a senior, number 12.
Talk about two teams that really haven't had a lot of close games this year. Shaw's had a couple. They got by round 2 against Pebblebrook 19-17, but both teams play well when it's close. And a little sweep there. Garcia's got room. And man, oh man, he can really turn it up. Gets up the midfield, gain of 7, and a first down. Verdun again, another tackle.
See what Verdun did? Verdun was outside, thinking the play was going to go outside. Has back turn. He made a 360-degree pivot. He's number 90. Watch him here. There he had just turned around. He was facing the other way, made a complete rotation to make that arm tackle. Here you're going to see it right here. Look at this, and now he comes back inside. Hello.
Nice plays there, heads up. First down and 10, ball just across the midfield stripe. And Moore looking to throw. Coming under pressure. Gets rid of it, and he'll just throw it out of bounds.
Well, Coach spoke to him about that, too. Remember Moore earlier in the first half? Not getting rid of it and taking about an 8-yard loss.
Right, especially right there at the end of the half, too. Saw a little trickery there.
I know Coach Dave, after halftime wanted to come out and say, we're going to go back to what we do. This is not what we do. And he just wanted to march it down and wanted to knock them off the ball. But if you can't, you have to make that adjustment.
Yeah, they play smash mouth football, too, more of a conventional wing T attack. Thompson, of course, puts their wing back out a little further on the line there. And another sweep. Flag comes flying in. I believe they're going to blow this play dead.
Well, that's too bad for sure, because Garcia, with his eludability, might have been able to get something done out on the corner.
False start on Shaw.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. Second down.
So second down and 15 now, upcoming for the Raiders.
It's been Shaw's problem so far in the game. They get it going a little bit and then all of a sudden start going backward with mistakes. False starts, late snaps.
Up to the line receiver. Wide to the far side. Garcia again in motion. And this time it's Mabry. And he's going to be stacked up. Stays on his feet, though. And they're going to mark him up in midfield. Good second and third effort there by Jarrell Mabry.
Great effort. And as soon as he got to the corner, got his pads parallel to the line of scrimmage. Watch him now. Now turn up. Turn up. There you go.
And I think the Thompson folks were saying his knee was down. Didn't look like it, though, on that replay. It looked like he stayed up, I guess. And they'll mark him up at the 50, so he gets the 5 yards back, but it's third down and 10.
Get that big guy going. He can wear you out.
He'll come into play in that fourth quarter, I guarantee it. These two teams try to wear each other down. Officials timeout now. And we're ready to play. We talked about the two offensive linemen for Thompson headed to Clark. Dexter Crawford, the linebacker, also committing to Clark University. And Garcia running out. Moore going to throw it and nearly knocked away. And then nearly caught on the reflection there by Mabry. Dexter Crawford knocked it down and nearly had interception if he could have squeezed that thing.
Well, I didn't like the execution, but the design was excellent. And that thing would have gone for a bundle had he been able to hit the receiver. Just a quick release inside. There's nobody on him.
Could have been intercepted right there. Had it.
Yep.
Knocked it down. So Mitch White stands at the 35, ready to punt it away. Mathis, number 2, back deep for Thompson, stands at his 10. White with a couple of good punts in that first half, no rush. And a high kick, gets it away. And Mathis is going to back away from it, going to take a nice little Shaw bounce. I think he's going to roll inside the 5 and down at the 2. Anthony Merritt, 21 down there.
Well, Demarius Mathis for Thompson really needed to come up and field that punt. That's what happens.
49 yards on the punt. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to John Nelson.
Now, the way things go, and I've been, 7, 8, 9 years seeing you in all these places. Let's introduce him. WTVM-TV, TV9 in Columbus. Quick pub for you, Dave Plata. What's Shaw's life been like for you this year, and what are you seeing here today?
Well, what I'm seeing right now, well, first of all, this is a team that thrives on folks doubting them. Nobody thought they'd get past Tucker in the last ball game, and they went out and made a statement. That's what they'd like to do today against Thompson. They've got one of the best defenses in the state. They've got to step that up, and they've got to get the offense going. There's time. There's time.
Now, also with the way things go, Dave is one of the cogs in the wheel for Prep Sports Plus. He always helps us out with highlights. makes us look absolutely totally fantastic. And you're working today?
Absolutely. How could I miss a game like this? This is great. Number one team in the state against one of our local teams here, a team with a shot at winning a state championship. We'll see what happens.
Number one TV station in Columbus, too. Do we even want to know what the halftime talk was like in that locker room?
You know what? I think he was probably telling them to get it in gear. It's close. You guys can do it. You've done it before.
All right, Dave Plata, thanks for your time. Get back to work. Let's send it back upstairs.
All right, thanks, Johnny. Antoine Johnson on that last carry. McNair with that first down run, a play prior, and there, Thompson really moving the football. And as they were talking about, this was a Shaw team that no one thought could get to this point.
Yeah, and they had an opportunity there to really pin them down there. McNair brought it out, and Antoine Johnson, who's a junior and a senior-laden team with that last run.
That opening loss to Carver didn't look too good, but they've won 12 in a row, have the Shaw Raiders. But it's Dion Palmer off and running right now across the 30 for the Bulldogs. And that'll bring up second down at about 3.5.
Shaw's game is defense, and they've got to hunker down now, find a way to get it done, because Thompson is finding some solutions.
Wheeler and Alexander combining for the stop. And they're going to look at the elusive D. Palmer.
That number 72, that big and narrow 72, that was Brian Brinson. Again, doing a great job when he pulls.
Second down 3 this time. The give is over the left side there. That is number 28 for Thompson. That's Bermikas Hortons. Philip Wheeler with the stop there.
Watch Brinson come out again, that big 72 right there. And actually, that defender, I didn't see his number, was able to do a good job of just warding him off and making the play.
DeMarco Drake, Darrell Jackson, the wideouts for Thompson. They've got one of them on the far sideline. Third down and short. And to give McNair first down across the 35, will spin his way up to the 37.
McNair got a touchdown in the first half. Don't you get the feeling he's just inches away from breaking a long gainer?
Had that 41-yard touchdown in that first half. And the Raiders got to kind of clamp down on him right now. We're going to look at McNair. As we mentioned, over 3,500 yards in his career, over 1,200 yards this year alone.
That was Derzel Duggar with the tackle.
And here we go, Palmer on the keeper. Across the 40, punches it up to about the 42. He'll have 3 or 4 on first down. And right now they're just grinding it out. Brandon Parker, the linebacker, with the hit.
That was McNair does it all, guys. That was him with a key block on Bynum, the safety for sure. Watch number 28 come out here. There he is. Boom. Just put it on him. Turn him. Not a factor, and Bynum is the big timer for Shaw.
Yeah, he had a big first half. Of course, as you mentioned at halftime, he got a hand on that punt that set up that field goal that gave Shaw the early lead. Thompson, though, up 7-3 here in the third quarter. And driving at their own 42. And Palmer going to keep it right side. Makes one-man miss across the 45 and up to the 47.5.
There's my boys, Brinson and Neal, burying a couple of defenders at the point of attack. These guys, it's not often you see a game when a couple of guards could be your MVPs, but these guys are in on every play. Watch them. 70 and 72 pulling. There they go. That looks like an eclipse right there. They're 70 starting at 72, finishing them off.
The Duggar twins, 93 and 94, Darnell and Deseret, combining for that last tackle, but a first down for the Bulldogs at the 47. And this time, Johnson, the fullback, a gain of a couple there. Darnell Duggar, the sophomore.
Thompson started on their own, too, putting the drive together. Their defenses thinking they've been cut from the team.
Second down at 8 now. Palmer, as we mentioned, 11.2-yard average this year as a quarterback, but really an athlete. Probably going to play receiver or DB wherever he winds up at. And there's a little quick pitch to McNair trying to turn that corner midfield. And we'll go down into Shaw territory. Marked down right at the 48. Jerome Jones, the senior cornerback, came up for the hit.
Thompson is trying to play this game without throwing the ball even once. Reminds me of Georgia Tech's Gary Lanier, the only guy in the history of the world to beat Notre Dame without throwing a pass. That was Pepper Rogers' old wishbone attack.
I don't think Bug Ballou threw too many in that Sugar Bowl at Notre Dame either.
No, he sure didn't.
Sometimes you can get it on the run. We can look at third down conversions. Shaw 1 of 6, Thompson just 2 of 7. Big third down and 5 here. Ball at the 48. And an option play. Going to get it out there to Johnson. Johnson cuts back in. He's going to be hit and stopped, and the Raider defense holds.
Well, that short pursuit really showed up when they needed them to. Thompson had been doing a great job taking it out of the shadow of their goal line, and then when Shaw needed to have it on third down, here came that pursuit again.
Brandon Whaley, the linebacker, with the big hit, the guy we featured in the pregame.
It was right here with the pitch. And then look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Shaw defenders.
Thompson held the ball for 5 minutes, so they did work the clock there. But they do punt. And Brandon Young trying to angle it for the corner, and it'll go out. And going to mark this ball close to the 10. And now they're going to bring it back up and mark it out at the 13.5. Let's go ahead and throw it on down to John.
One quick note when it comes to defense. Just got finished talking with Danny Verdun of Thompson. And watch the matchups and watch where Jarrell Mabry's running the ball. They're trying to isolate on that particular corner so they can focus on the mismatch when it comes to Mabry's weight and the weight of the undersized, by nature, defensive line for Thompson. So watch where Mabry's going and see if they can isolate and get the yardage that they're looking for that they missed most of this third quarter.
Undersized, yet very quick up front.
Very quick. Size at the ends.
So Shaw takes over more on the keeper there. Looked like he tried to follow Mabry through a hole, but not a lot of room.
Well, Mabry went to the left side. He came back to the right. That's something we haven't seen yet from Shaw. And that whole first half was a feeling out process.
Dexter Crawford, the linebacker there, number 12. And on that last play.
Shaw has not been able to get the momentum back ever since McNair scored for Thompson. And if they can't move it here, then the momentum definitely will be on the side of Thompson.
Near the 2-minute marker in the third quarter. And on the left side, but nothing doing there. Nice job by Crawford and Verdun combining on that hit. That was Marvin Menifee, number 2.
Did you see the penetration by big Marcus McCord, number 61? He's the one that caused him to belly out a little bit more than he wanted to. There's 61 in there.
Really wrapped up Menifee right there for a short game.
And when you belly or go deeper more than you want to, it allows the rest of the defense to pursue and catch up.
Coach Welsh pacing the sideline here. 3rd down and 8 for the Shaw offense. Raiders with split backs and a wing. And they give it to Warren, trying to cut back up and gets up to the 20. We're going to be well shy of that first down. Ran to the short side of the field there. Crawford and Culpepper for the tackle.
Coach Flowers playing it close to the vest. You thought he might throw there on 3rd and long, and just you can't. This game is still right here. I mean, obviously 7-3, and you can't possibly afford a turnover down here.
So now Mitch White will punt it away inside his own 10. Demarius Mathis again back deep. Stands at his own 42. And no rush. Not a very long punt. And we'll take a nice little Bulldog bounce back at the 45 there. They'll mark it down. So Thompson with excellent field position with 54 seconds left now in the third quarter. Again, Dave Garner along with Bo Bach. John Nelson bringing you all the action right here on GPTV. Again, high school state semifinal action live at the Georgia Dome. And, of course, 5A action coming up a little bit later on this evening. Camden County and Brookwood going to be a good matchup. Charles Ward and former Falcon Gerald Riggs will have the call of that game. Of course, earlier today we saw former Falcon and William Andrews, whose son plays for Greater Atlanta Christian.
That's right.
We saw him in the stands.
That's Micah Andrews. He's a beauty.
First down and 10. McNair on the carry is hit right at the line. Good job there by number 94 for Shaw. Again, Desrick Duggar. One half of that twin combination.
And of course, going back to Gerald Riggs, his son is at Tennessee, of course. running back to Tennessee. And, you know, we talk about those guys, you know, William Andrews and Gerald Riggs playing on the same team for the Falcons, and not Lehman Bennett not being able to find a way to get them both on the field at the same time. That was kind of like Jamal and Ironhead.
Exactly.
12 years earlier.
Second down and 10, wing T for Thompson. And then split back, and now we're going to see a pass play here. Completion to McNair. Breaks the tackle all the way down to the 26.
Hey, Coach Welch, that's a beauty. We can throw it.
Well, that caught me off guard right there. That's the first pass attempt, I guess, of the ball game right there for Thompson. And we talk about McNair as a pass catcher. 8 receptions, 134 yards this year. You got to keep your eye on him out of the backfield.
What, did you see Palmer throw that ball? He threw it with authority. He knew exactly what he was doing.
And a lefty, too.
Picks him out, yeah. Good ball. A lot of RPMs on that.
So a big play there. First down and 10 at the 26 for the Bulldogs. 7 seconds left here in this third quarter. And a 7-3 lead for Thompson over Shaw.
Gary Lanier's record is intact.
And they're trying to get off one final play here before the end of the quarter. And to give it straight ahead to the big fullback, Johnson. And he'll have a couple, and that'll do it for quarter number 3. So we're down to the final 12 minutes in the semifinals here at the Georgia Dome, and the Thompson Bulldogs with a 7-3 lead over the Shaw Raiders. We'll step aside and be right back. Fourth quarter coming up. Stay with us. Dave Garner along with Bo Bach, and Bo, we saw a lot of high-scoring games last night. Of course, the other Quad A semifinal, Thomas County Central 35, Marist 34, and another thriller between those two. A lot of history there. First meeting between these two, but a low-scoring ball game despite the big rushing games.
And you know, the dangerous proposition really for Thompson, because Shaw's been here before, and they know they're in every game.
Fourth quarter action underway now, and a big play. McNair up the middle, tripped up right at the 10, otherwise he was gone. And the Bulldogs will have it first down and goal. Darius Alexander, the free safety, saved the touchdown.
Well, he was one step away from me having to say maybe not.
Look at that hole up the middle, too. Nice job by that offensive line. And man, oh man, Alexander just got a hand on him.
Yeah, he really is a good-looking runner, McNair.
First and goal ball just inside the 10. 102 yards today for DeMarco McNair. And the give is to the fullback Johnson, who punches ahead for a couple. Brandon Parker, the linebacker, helping out on that play. Coach Welsh looking on from the sideline, trying to add a third state championship to Thompson.
Yeah, this is where Shaw really needs one of those defensive turnovers that they've specialized in.
I guess a 5th overall if you go back to the 60s and those back-to-back ones in 67, 68. Second down and goal. And McNair, 5, driving goal line, touchdown, DeMarco McNair.
Yeah, of all the great running backs we've seen over the last 2 days, McNair's right there with him. He runs it with a vengeance. You could actually see him smell that goal line there. You had a feeling he was not going to be stopped. Look at the big uns. Look at Neal and Brinson coming out again.
2 touchdowns today for McNair. That man right there.
Pulling, blocking, bucking.
Aaron Johnson will try to tack on the PAT. And it's there. And Thompson leads it 14-3 over Shaw with 11:09 left in the game. Flag came in late at the 10. But I believe it's going to be on Shaw. They'll penalize him on the kickoff. Good blocking. A couple plays there in a row. 2 plays into the fourth quarter.
Really?
Thompson back on the board.
Brinson, look at number 72 right there. He
running in the kicker, an extra point, 5 yards success on the kickoff.
But Brinson and Neal may be the 2 best guards that I've seen over the last 2 days.
And we talked about it in the opening. These guys like to pull the guards, and that's exactly what they've done in this ball game. It really gives them an extra dimension. Get a couple extra blockers out there on the corner. And they are deadly. So now Shaw's offense really has to counter here. They can't afford to punt that ball back to Thompson with the momentum on their side.
Well, they've got 11 minutes. Coach has time. And they need to get something done on this drive because Thompson has really owned the time of possession in the second half. So you know you're going to have to maximize your offense and probably throw the ball.
Yeah, and if you're not a throwing football team, it's tough to do that, especially when you get in a hole. Johnson boots it away. Low liner skip kick. Picked up at the 12. And that is Merritt, 21 across the 20. Trying to reverse his field. Will be taken down. He'll lose yardage. Back to the 15. So the Raiders find themselves in a little bit of a hole here. Yancey Moss, number 24, getting it done on special teams. And Merritt somewhat quiet today.
Up at the 21, 22. End up, well, they give him a...
Merritt, of course, as we talked about, that 94-yard kickoff return that actually came against Ware County in round 2. So now Terrence Moore and that offense will go back to work. Split backs, quick toss. That's Warren trying to turn the corner, and he's going to be tripped up hard at the 20. Big hit, and that gets the crowd fired up.
Wow.
Check that Rose, number 10.
That was Brandon Rose. Watch this. We'll turn the call. Looks like he's got some room. And I didn't see who slid it through right there. He was 32.
Number 32, Lawan Johnson.
Yeah.
Took his legs out from underneath him. Here you look at the scoring drive for the Bulldogs. 6 plays, 45 yards in just a minute 46. And, of course, McNair capping it off with that 8-yard touchdown run. And a little reverse here. Anthony Merritt in trouble, though, and he's going to be slung down. Still on his feet. Still in trouble inside the 5, going backwards, and he'll fall down at the 2, and a penalty comes flying in at the 5. And Merritt just had nowhere to run that time. Thompson all over it.
Boy, it looked like a pretty good call, except it was blown up by a Thompson defender who got great penetration. Looked like somebody might have been called for holding on Shaw, but they didn't call that. Let's see what they call at the end.
And our referee, Mr. Adams,
holding.
2 flags going against Shaw here, so just not helping at all. The Raiders really in a hole here. As you get a look at Coach Flowers over there on the sideline. Fort Valley State man, 14th year. Shaw, of course, out of Region 2. Thompson out of Region 3. So the play will stand. They'll decline the penalty. And the ball going to be all the way back inside the 2. And it looked like they were flirting with the safety there. I think Merritt realized that he had already lost enough. And if he'd went back any further, it would have been 2.
Why give him another down when you're going to get a half the distance, which is 6 inches in this instance?
So here we go.
Thompson thinking safety.
Shaw trying to punch it out of their own end zone. Receiver wide near side. Garcia and a wingback.
Oh!
And the ball's loose on the ground. Picked up by Verdun at the goal line. Will push it in for the touchdown. Got some help from the defenders. 1-yard touchdown officially for the senior Verdun.
A horrible mistake. I think Brandon Rose went the wrong way. It's going to be a toss sweep left. Brandon Rose came to the right side, ran into the pitch.
Well, they were thinking safety.
Here it is right here. Watch Rose come from the right side of your screen right there. He went in the wrong direction.
And Verdun just picked that thing up, and a little bit of help there from Casper Brinkley. And now Johnson for the PAT, and he hooks it through there. So 21-3, and yet another penalty.
They're running into the kicker again.
There you're going to look at Verdun on the sideline. Well over 100 tackles this year, and now a fumble recovery for a touchdown. As we said, a 3.7 SAT committing to Georgia's. Got some other schools looking at him. 6'2", 230, a good-looking athlete, and now a very memorable semifinal here at the Georgia Dome.
You know, we talked about that short deep, and here it is one more time. That's a good look at it. He just went in the wrong direction.
And a tough break for Shaw.
That is a tough break. Shaw came out. They were playing strong defense. You know, that's their forte at the beginning of the game. And then, you know, you've got to give Thompson credit because they really run it. They've run it well all year. But the way their defense has showed up tonight with Casper and Jasper and Verdun, they've been great.
Those guys all play alike, too, very aggressive, and now Aaron Johnson will boot it away. Shaw, though, still with 9:42 left in the contest, but big defensive play there by the Bulldogs. We talked about Shaw's defense putting up the TDs, but now Thompson has one. And that's Darius Alexander who will bring it out across the 10. Trying to punch it out, but won't even make it to the 15. Great coverage on the kickoff by the Bulldogs.
Just not enough short people and special teams putting bodies on bodies.
Jonathan Worrell, number 20, one of the first men down there for Thompson. So once again, Sean, another little hole here. I guess they got to take care of the football, Bo.
A few of those guys were untouched in special teams. Well, at this point, you might as well throw caution to the wind. Forget protection, throw it around the lot.
Spread them out. Well, you got some guys with some speed, that's for sure. Garcia, as we've talked about, 4.5 speed or so, and he's certainly shown that today, especially on this carpet. They've got the athletes to make it happen.
But now Thompson will be pinning their ears back, and Shaw has shown that they can't block them.
Garcia and Moore are going to keep this one out of the shotgun, and is taken out of bounds at the 20. And a gain of about 5, maybe 6 yards. Dexter Crawford on the tackle.
Nice call on first down with 9.5 left, and the passing formation, the run out of it.
You know, Shaw, as we mentioned in halftime and early on, a team that wasn't even supposed to be here, so a lot of people thought anyway. Rattling off 12 straight victories after that season opening loss to Carver Columbus. A lot of folks around the state not really giving those guys a lot of respect either. But they have shown that they're for real, despite being in a hole here today.
Verdun calls the timeout, 4 wides. He didn't like what he saw.
Heads up play there by the senior linebacker, so the Bulldogs will talk things over. And when you talk about Thompson, you know, we talk about Shaw's defense, but Thompson, again, allowing right at a touchdown a game. That's it. They have been superb, really, on both sides of the football. Hence the #1 ranking, I guess, all year long. Thompson got the rally hankies there, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it brought a lot of fans up from Thompson. In fact, the turnout today for the high school semifinals has just been fantastic. When I walked in the building during the prior game, it was the most people I've seen in the last few years. People really starting to turn onto the Georgia Dome, for these semifinal playoffs.
Sure. We talked about, of course, the North Georgia Regionals for basketball may soon be here as well at the Georgia Dome. So after the timeout, second down and about 3.5. Moore again working out of the shotgun. Quick pass. Hits Merritt. And he's got it across the 30, 35. Look out, folks. Midfield. Anthony Merritt, 40, 30, and he's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Anthony Merritt.
I think Verdun had the right idea. That's why he called timeout. He didn't like what he saw. But when they went to the side, they didn't make an adjustment. Maybe they didn't think that Shaw was going to come out in the same set.
80-yard touchdown for Merritt, a guy that doesn't see a lot of time on offense.
Great block by the wide receiver, or actually, that's Garcia. He just got a piece, and that's all it took. And the safeties got caught up inside. Safeties are supposed to be out there preventing that. They got sucked up into the interior of the play.
So now Mitch White will try to tack on the extra point. Just like that, the Raiders right back in it here with 9:16 to play. White with a 27-yard field goal. And the extra point is ripped through there, so it's 21-10 now. And as we're talking about, Merritt, a guy that really plays on defense. He's a kick returner. He's had 8 interceptions this year. But Coach Flowers says, hey, we got to have our best athletes on the field right now to make some plays.
Think he's got some long speed? Good shot, Garcia. They're just a piece. That's all you need.
Great job by our GPTV camera crew, too. They've been on it all day long, and you saw it right there. Merritt got to that sideline, and it was nothing but jets after that.
There it is again. Great block there.
Marius Mathis, number 2, chasing him, but unable to make up any ground there. Merritt turning it on.
Also, Derek Powell getting a great block right there. That's all you have to do is just bump somebody, just get a piece, just chip them. And when you get a wide receiver with that kind of speed,
so now
nothing but pay there.
White will tee it off from the 40. And Thompson was looking at a possible onside kick there, but instead they'll boot it out of the end zone. And it'll come out at the 20. That was Warren back deep, so now Thompson still in control of this football game with 9:16 left, but they've got to be careful here. They've got to put together some drives and eat up some clock.
And see, that kick going into the end zone, I always think when you're trailing, you just like the ball to come down on the end zone, or just you want to make a play. You want to challenge your special teams. Guys, we need ball. Somebody knock it loose. That the scoring drive was only 2 plays, 86 yards in 26 seconds. When you're behind, that's the kind of scoring drive you love.
Now the Raiders got some momentum and a big play on defense there on first down. Robert Lenz, number 98, shooting through there from the defensive tackle spot. And they are fired up here. They got some momentum. They get this football back here. They're going to make it a game.
Yeah, they're all fired up. Lenz is a big guy. He's only a junior. He'll be back next year. Look at that. That's contact.
McNair met in the backfield, so a loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Wentz, 2 sacks this year, 365-pound bench press. And this time Palmer going to keep. Turns the corner, and the Raiders do a nice job stringing that play out to the sideline.
What Shaw does. They just needed a little shot in the arm.
Alexander and Merritt force them out. Darius Alexander, 5'9", 166, 41 tackles this year.
Watch Alan Boatwright, number 67 there. He does his job in the middle of the line, gets a couple of blocks. In fact, the interior of the Thompson line just cascaded everybody in the other direction.
And defensive coordinator John Barnett of Shaw trying to get his guys fired up. It's 3rd down and long here for Thompson. Palmer under center. And Palmer on the keeper, breaks it, gets out of there, and will punch it across the 25. Whew. That was close to pass being a fumble there. They really got a guy on that fullback that time. Johnson, Palmer able to sneak through there on the keeper, but still going to be short of that first down.
Antoine Johnson, who took that fake, actually got a great pop there, and he came up limping a little bit. Watch him right here.
Brandon Whaley, 35, really didn't make the tackle, but really made that play on defense, getting through there. And now a timeout going to be called by the Raiders here with 8:01 left in the ball game.
They still have 2 timeouts remaining.
Thompson still up 21-10, but going to have to get rid of this football. Well, don't forget you can become a member of Georgia Public Television today just by visiting our website at www.gpb.org. Totally secure, simple to use, and it takes just 2 minutes of your time. Show your support of high school sports programming on GPTV by visiting www.gpb.org. And thanks for your support of GPTV. Of course, basketball finals, football finals. You can find it all right here.
Well, this is Coach Welsh, and he knows if Coach Flowers has a punt block, it's coming right now. Full protection. Maximum protection right now for Thompson. There's no gunners.
9 guys for Shaw in the box.
No, they're not coming. They want the return.
They're going to set it up. Young gets it out of there, and it'll go out of bounds. And that's a pretty good punt, keeping it out of the hands of Merritt there. But the Raiders do get the football back, trailing by 11, but still 7:54 left in the contest, and now they need a quick strike.
Yeah, they're all charged up. See, we're going to throw it and probably start off by running it here. Still plenty of time, almost 8 minutes.
Shaw, as we mentioned early on, advancing by wins over Burke County, Pebblebrook, and Tucker. Thompson, meanwhile, with victories over Troup County, Ware County, and Rome. 1st and 10. Ball at the 43. Garcia in motion. Moore will work out of the shotgun. And he throws a quick little hitter over there to Menifee, who takes a pretty good lick there from Jasper Brinkley, who played the pass that time. He got out there.
Well, if Moore could have checked out of that, he really had a pass defense from Thompson, and they were giving him a lot of running room. If they could have checked out of it, I know Coach certainly would have liked to. So by throwing it, you played right into Thompson's hands.
So a loss of close to 2 on that last play. 2nd down and 12. Moore looking long down the field. He's got Garcia, and it's taken away, intercepted. Intercepted by number 23, Stanquan Rogers. The sophomore with a big play on defense.
Well, we talked about Moore earlier, not being dumb with the ball and not throwing it up for grabs in the first half. And that time he forced it a little bit. He needed to throw that to the outside and give Garcia a chance to run under it. But he threw it inside. Here's Garcia just passing in your window right there. And you see he puts a lot of air under it, so there's a lot of time for the defender to make a play on the ball.
Rogers went up, caught that ball at the highest point, which is what you're taught as a DB. So first down and 10, the ball goes back over with 7:13 left. And now McNair tripped up right at the 35, dives up to the 37, so a gain of a couple there.
Look at Brandon Whaley, got a piece of him. But just getting back to Shaw, they really had what they wanted from a running point of view. They spread the field, and they had Thompson all spread out. And if they had run it, they probably could have made some hay.
Boat right to center leads them up to the line. Brinson, Neal, your guards, Williams, English, your tackles. Palmer under center, split backs. And the give goes straight ahead and across the 40. Kyle Jacobs, the linebacker, brought down Johnson. Big baby Antoine Johnson, number 34. You can look at the tackle there by Jacobs, who plays a lot behind Whaley. Coming up again right after this ball game, a little bit later on, Brookwood and Camden County, scheduled for 9 p.m. tonight, right here on GPTV. Brookwood trying to make it an all-Gwinnett final. Camden County trying to prove that they're for real, and I believe they are. And there's a big play for McNair, still driving across midfield and down to the 45.
Has he got a burst or what? That was 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5.
They needed to pick that up. Shaw absolutely needed to stop. They get a stop there. They're still in the game with 6 minutes to go. And McNair, as he's done all evening long, just picked up the tough yards.
Alexander, number 3, met him, but a gain of 15. And now an official's timeout going to be called here. 125 yards now for DeMarco McNair.
That McNair is a sack of guts.
Ball just shy of the 45. Split backs again. And the give goes to the big fullback, and he's got some room. Antoine Johnson breaks it inside the 40. Anthony Merritt brought him down in the secondary.
He wants to be like McNair.
Exactly.
Watch him try to finish off the run here. Watch him get his pads low. Boom.
Well, you know, we talk about the size of Mabry for Shaw being 260, but I tell you what, Johnson's no small guy at all. 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's the kind of guy that can wear you down too late in a ball game. 2nd down and 3. McNair once again driving 35-30, still on his feet down to the 29. And McNair continues to add to his already impressive afternoon.
Time they pulled Brinson. Brinson turned the corner. And I think he got a piece of a defender who might have had an opportunity to trip him up, but he just buried him. Those two guys, Brinson and Neal, have really been something for Thompson.
Palmer. Give it back to Johnson. He's got room, 25-20. And inside the 20 goes Antoine Johnson. And going to be close to another first down, and they're just eating up big chunks of yardage right now, Bo.
Merritt's looking at him and he's saying, hey, Coach, don't send that locomotive this way again. Watch Merritt at the end of this, and I thought he was going to cut him again and that he might be able to vault him. But he just said, we don't do that. We just power. We're all about power, knocking out people at the end of runs.
And more importantly for Thompson, that clock continues to roll, nearing the 4-minute mark now of the ball game. And they're up 21-10.
Quick hitter, straight ahead, right over Boatwright. Boatwright's the center, number 67.
And depending on the spot here, Antoine Johnson, the running back, with a little block in there. So 3rd down and inches, a little short of that first down, but the clock is rolling. 3:44. D. Palmer under center. And we're going to have Whistler going to blow that play dead there. Looked like somebody from Shaw may have come across.
Left side of Shaw's defensive front.
Yeah, Philip Wheeler over there, Robert Lenz. So that's going to give Thompson the first down. You know, Philip Wheeler, 91, guy that we've talked a little bit about today. He's a very good-looking athlete as well. 6'3", 210, 8.5 sacks this year, 23 tackles for a loss. And that's the first down there. Ball inside the 15. They're going to try to pound it. McNair hurdles over a guy, stays on his feet. Good athletic play there. Gets down to the 12. Good second effort.
Yeah, great gain under the circumstances. There was a lot of traffic over there. Neal and Brinson were trying to. It was just all muddy. Look at the traffic out here. Here comes Neal. Here comes Brinson. He buries him. He gets a piece of him. Gets a second block. And then McNair turns it up inside. That's about as good a 3-yard run as you're going to see.
Oh yeah.
Credit Shaw for the tackle.
Second down and 8. Conventional wing team look this time. And Palmer on the keeper. 10, 5. Deep Palmer. Touchdown. 12-yard touchdown for Dion Palmer. Brian Brinson, that left guard, as you talked about, one of your heroes today, Bo, made a big block there.
Yeah, he did. And they sent Hortons the other way. Send Hortons the other way to take the safety out of the mix. Here comes Hortons, number 28. He goes the other way. Play action fake there. Then they turn it. Oh, look at that dive. Look at that block.
Brandon Whaley, the linebacker, taken out of play there. And now they're in Johnson for the PAT. And no good there. Yeah, I got partially blocked there. Good job by Shaw. They've done a good job of that, putting some pressure on there today. But they're going to look at Dion Palmer, the son of NBA star Horace Grant, who has certainly had another big ball game today here in the semifinals. With 2:43 to go, it's 27-10 Thompson.
Boom! There it is, and up the chute comes Palmer. He's a good-looking athlete, isn't he?
He is.
Holy cow.
Look at that. Middle of the field open there. Palmer, not a conventional quarterback. He's like a Mike Vick or somebody that gives you that extra dimension, almost that extra running back there. Well over 1,200 yards this year as a rusher. And as we talked about, the most rushing yards by a quarterback in school history. And, of course, 24-3 as a starter. And they're going to look at it right there. Great plays equals a Thompson victory, and that may be the case today right here on GPTV. They're going to look at the scoring drive. Thompson Bulldogs 9 plays, 65 yards, 4.5 minutes off the clock. And Palmer with that 12-yard touchdown run to cap it off.
I'd like to give Brinson and Neal, everybody their sizes, how big they are, but it's just not listed.
Inside the 5 is Darius Alexander, hit at the 20.
Yancey Moss.
Number 24 had another special teams tackle there. In the 4A championship, maybe coming to Thompson next Friday night. Thompson looking to host Thomas County Central. Those two teams have met. A little bit of history there.
You know, Dave, some schools send full rosters with sizes, and other schools just send names and numbers, and other schools send a different format.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Now, they're big boys, though.
Whoa, baby.
Moore being pressured and will go down. Picks up a couple on the play there. Good athletic play to avoid that sack. Casper Brinkley with the pressure, but the clock will continue to roll down to 2:25. And again, as I mentioned, Shaw, of course, winning 12 straight ball games. William Henry Shaw High School out of Columbus. Of course, William Henry Shaw, a former Columbus School superintendent. And these guys have had a lot of success. 3 undefeated seasons from 98, 99 to 2000. That one knocked away and nearly intercepted. Hit by 2 or 3 defenders there.
Yeah, they were not fooled. They're setting up the middle screen. Verdun was there. He wasn't fooled. Jonathan Worrell was there. He wasn't fooled.
One thing you got to look at, though, too, Bo. Moore, sophomore. Jarrell Mabry, the fullback, sophomore. Jose Garcia, junior. Powell, sophomore. Those offensive linemen. Those guys are going to be back here.
Sure will be back.
And what's scary, too, is when you look at Thompson. They've got a few sophomores and juniors on their side of the ball, too, that are going to be around in 2003. Garcia in motion, far side. Moore again out of the gun. Will throw it. And they get it over there to Powell, who crosses the 30 and dives to the first down marker. Good job there on 3rd and long.
They thought they'd go back to the well. That play was so good for him with that time they go with Derek Powell. And Garcia does a nice job out there, number 6. And he has you see, just gets a piece of the defender.
I'll tell you what, Powell really picked that thing up off the carpet.
Yeah.
Whoa, look at that. So 1st down and 10, ball just shy of the 35. And that's Brian Day, number 5, who comes in motion. And Menifee, the reception, 35, and up to the 38 goes Marvin Menifee, the junior receiver. Dexter Crawford, another tackle there on D.
Garcia that time didn't get a block on LaJuan Johnson. And he was able to slow up the receiver.
Nice pass there by Moore. Good tight spiral. 1:12 left here at the Georgia Dome. Thompson trying to get back to that state championship. Moore pump fake, looking long down the field, looking for Powell. He is covered, and it's going to be intercepted. Demarius Mathis, number 2, with the pick.
Well, Coach Wells had them in a 2 deep, and you need 2 receivers going down the outside so you can separate them. They didn't have the 2 receivers, and that's you against the 2 deep. The middle is usually open.
So Thompson takes over with 60 seconds left. And this is pretty much a done deal as you get a look at that pass there. 2nd interception of the night for the Thompson secondary. And once again, Mathis catching that ball at his highest point.
Well, exactly 1 minute to go. Coach Flowers didn't really have many options. You had to throw it downfield and just get lucky. Hope it tipped off somebody. Hope you get an interference call. You need 2 scores.
Rome Dome home. And beware the dog. Who let the dogs out? Well, I don't know. Somebody let Thompson out today, though. Bulldogs fired up, leading 27-10. You know, we talked about success that Shaw has had in the regular season over the past 5 years or so. But when you look at Thompson, 3-7 in '98. They have turned it around. 9-1 regular season in '99, 7-3, and then 9-1. And this year, out of nowhere, it looks like they're going to be 14-0. Ranked number 1 all year long, and this is a team that has really dominated throughout the season. So Palmer in there at quarterback. And McNair with another carry is taken down at the 30. Good job there by Lenz, 98. Lenz has had a pretty good ball game today.
Oh, he's had a great ball game.
He's a junior. He'll be back.
Thompson goes into next year's game against Thomas County Central with a lot of momentum. This was a great game for them, and especially the way that they did it down at the end here in the 4th quarter. Here they go into the best formation of all, the victory formation.
That's right. That's the best play you can run right there if you're on top. And 22 seconds are going to run off the clock, and that should do it.
They look good, Dave. They look good. It'll be a great game, a great final next week against Thomas County Central.
Clock continues to roll here. Dion Palmer and the Thompson Bulldogs getting ready to celebrate. And again, they will indeed host the state championship next Friday night at 7:30 right here on GPTV against Thomas County Central. It'll be a great matchup. Once again, the final. Thompson 27, Shaw 10. Take your hats off to the Raiders. They came to play, played an excellent ball game, 7-3 at halftime, but the Bulldogs showing that they were just too much down the stretch. So the field is set. 9 down, 1 to go here at the Georgia Dome. The 5A game, of course, coming up here in a little bit between Brookwood and Camden County. That promises to be a great ball game. Charles Ward and former Falcon Gerald Riggs with the call of that one. And I've certainly enjoyed my time here at the Dome. I want to thank all the folks here at GPTV. Michael Grimes, our stats. Richard Musterer, our spotter's done an excellent job all weekend long, and these guys have worked some long hours as well this weekend, and certainly take our hats off to the crew.
Well, the guys have done a yeoman job for 2 days. Actually working for 2 weeks to get to these 2 days.
Exactly. A couple overtime games yesterday as well in the AA and in the AAA and Quad A games. And there you get a look at what's going to go down next Friday night. We'll be there in Thompson, 14-0 against 14-0.
And you know what jumps out at me? These teams are not used to losing.
28-0 combined. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Thomas County Central, of course, also with a good running game. Very athletic, as we saw last night, played with a lot of heart. Of course, that thing went to overtime and went for 2. John Nelson standing by down on the field with Coach Luther Welsh. Let's throw it on down there for John.
Thanks, Dave. Okay, you're looking up there. There were 4 zeros up there at one point, and you're on the winning side of the ledger. You've been like a kid all week playing at the Dome. Did this meet your expectations all the way through? Obviously, winning did, but what about the whole rest of the week and the whole experience here?
Well, the whole experience will be great for us because we was just, pumped for this game, and we was hoping to play well enough in order to win, and all the excitement here, then I'm sure it'll carry back over to home next week because we're playing at home, and that's great for our team and our people because they're the best supporters in the state.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You're going to the Boneyard. What's life going to be like for us when we hit there Friday night and before? What's it going to be like?
Well, there'll be a lot of people making a lot of noise, and they're all excited, and they just been looking forward to this, really, when they thought we might have a chance. So they kind of carried away right now.
When you first took the job back for the second time, when you came back from Screven County in January of '99, what were you thinking in your wildest dreams you'd like to do with the program? Did you have a set plan? Did you want it to be successful 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the line? What was your initial deal?
I didn't have any set plan, whether it was 1, 2, 3, or 4. I just wanted to win one more state championship. Now, I have that opportunity, and it just matter whether we get it done. But I didn't have really a plan, just to improve the program, and if it's got that good, then it take care of itself. You win, and undoubtedly that's what has happened, and I'm proud of our players and the community, and especially the kids that really started that program back again when I first went there. They kind of set a foundation, and the other kids came along, and these seniors now was ninth graders, so they learned as they went through from those type of people, because when I first went there, we won the region the first year, so they kind of laid the foundation, the older kids, and younger kids just got involved and saw what it took and kept working hard, and they put in a lot of work. They deserve this.
Let's talk about it, both sides of the ball. Let's start with the offense. Second half, obviously more successful than the first half. You were getting the push on the line of scrimmage, and great play from Palmer and McNair.
Well, we did. We blocked much better. We held our blocks much better the second half, because we talked to them a little bit, and I probably raised them the voice a little bit in that too to make sure they understood it. And they did a much better job holding the blocks the second half, and that was the difference in their offense, because we were running the same plays, but we did a better job of execution. And defensively, you can't ask for more than that. They made one mistake, but our defense, like I told you before the ball game, when you have defense, you can win.
All right, Coach, congratulations. Luther Welsh, 70 years old, the oldest head coach in high school football here in the state of Georgia. We're going to the Boneyard, guys, and you know what? Retro is in starting Friday.
That's right, sure is. Thank you.
Coach Luther Welsh with win number 200 at 73, 38 years as a head coach. We'll go ahead and take a quick timeout, but we'll be back right here to the Georgia Dome to recap that Quad A matchup and look ahead to the 5A coming up here in a little while. Stay with us right here on GPTV.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Dave Garner, Bo Bach, and John Nelson with you here at the Georgia Dome. Thompson a winner 27-10 over Shaw. Thompson will play for the state championship next Friday night right here on GPTV as they host Thomas County Central. Going to be a big ball game betwixt the bricks, the Brickyard and the Boneyard out there in Thompson. Going to be a great venue.
Would you be surprised, Dave? Would you be surprised, Dave, if that was an overtime game?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Of course not. I would. You know, that's what it looks like it's going to be.
They're going to look at the championship bracket for next Friday, and of course the ball game coming up is the second half of the 5A semifinal there between Brookwood and Camden County. Again, Brookwood at 12-1 and Camden County at 13-0. Well, that's it for us, Bo. I've enjoyed it and look forward to working.
It was fun, Dave. Thanks.
Down the road there. So that's going to do it from the Georgia Dome. Again, Jim Janacchia will have it here in a few minutes. And, of course, Charles Ward and Gerald Riggs will have the call of the 5A game. For John Nelson, Bo Bach, I'm Dave Garner saying so long from the Georgia Dome. Again, Thompson a winner 27-10 over Shaw.
This broadcast of the 2002 GHSA football semifinals has been provided in part by IBEW Local 613, Georgia Electric Membership Corporations, South Trust Bank, Dodge, the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, and by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.